Blade and Soul hasn't really had a healthy player base for a while now. Heck, the game hasn't been in a healthy state for even longer than that. Nobody is denying the fact that this is a highly flawed game, yet it had the potential to be something so much greater than it currently is. That is where the Unreal Engine 4 update comes into this. A lot of things were promised with this update, and some of it has been delivered. I have been streaming Blade and Soul over on our Twitch channel since the update came out in an attempt to push through, observe the activity levels on the way to max level, and witness the updates in real time, which, quick FYI, you guys are welcome to come on over and join me as I am streaming Blade and Soul every weekend at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and would love for you guys to come on over and accompany me. And while doing so, I have had hundreds of players come into the chat and ask me whether or not Blade and Soul is currently worth playing in 2021. That is not what this video is. I will have a different video on whether Blade and Soul is worth playing in the coming month. And with that, let's go ahead and discuss the very first thing that I noticed: additional Lyn customization options. There's the dragon, the new dragon skin thing, tail and horns. That actually looks sick. Seriously, not gonna lie, looks really sick. You're a peacock. There's a new peacock skin. Peacock tail. Oh, and you're like a horny mech, like a goat mech. I think this is like a Kirin, right? Like a Chinese dragon. There are a lot of new things you can go for Lyn. That's really cool. This might not be specific to this update. I haven't played Blade and Soul in probably about 18 months or so, but I do not recall these customization options being here before, and honestly, this made the Lyn race so much more appealing to me. Speaking of customization options, while I didn't notice new selection options for the other races, I do think that it's worth noting the fact that the character models look significantly different to what they looked like before. And I'm aware that this is going to do two different things. A, trigger players that love the old character models, the old shine, the old textures, and two, have people staring at what about the character models in specific is even different. Since I've had people come on over to the stream and ask me if there were even alterations made to the character models. And as a fan of Blade and Soul, it is very evident to me personally, but I realize that it isn't for everyone. So with that in mind, allow me to give you guys a small little comparison of the old versus the new character models. Note that the quality of the two videos might vary. After the noticeable character model differences, I realized how quickly I logged into the game for the very first time in 18 months. I'm used to the game taking 30, 40 seconds or more at times, depending on where you are, how many players are around, and how much of the game is required to be loaded between where you are now and where you'll be after you make it through the loading screen. But upon entering the game, I was greeted by loading screens that took anywhere from 5 to 8 seconds. This was such a departure from what I was used to that I almost couldn't fathom how much of a difference this made to the fluidity of progressing between zones. Before this update, you had time to get up, grab a snack and a soda, come back, and watch the remainder of the bar finish loading. Now, having to wait the few seconds between zones is pretty much negligible. But not only are there loading improvements, but there are FPS and general performance issues as well. I'm going to be honest with you guys right now, I have a pretty powerful computer. Very rarely does my PC lag when playing a video game, and more specifically, an MMO. Okay, well, you know what? That's actually a lie. Blade and Soul, Terra, and Estelia have all had massive FPS drops all the damn time, to an atrocious degree. And while Blade and Soul was definitely the lesser of the three offenders, you can find people complaining about performance on pretty much every single social platform there is. I never encountered severe lag, and it was never too frequent, but I can say that personally, having streamed almost 10 hours in the last couple days, that I have encountered two separate individual instances where my FPS tanked, and they were only momentary. So in approximately 10 hours of streaming the game, which is more of a resource hog than if I weren't streaming the game, evidently, I encountered several seconds of severe lag. Otherwise, I've had it pretty smooth. Now, experiences with performance seem to vary quite a bit between players. I've noticed a lot of players claiming that there has been very little, if any, noticeable improvement in terms of performance, where players are claiming that the game has never ran this good before, even at the best of times. People are also experiencing increased crashes, increased instances of bugs, so it isn't entirely a positive experience. I've noticed several bugs myself since beginning after this update went live, some that I've actually never encountered in the past, like the little Lin girl that was kind of just like floating up in the air. When MRSSSTIX did this, I think it took her about 30 minutes. That happened. And this atrocious instance of rubber banding that just refused to let me leave the area immediately surrounding the house that I was just in. What? Hello? Excuse me? Are you guys witnessing that? Can I... Yeah, but like what? Fine, I won't go that way. Jesus. Help! It won't let me leave the house. Okay, you guys know a minute ago how we saw the So you guys know a minute ago how we saw the Lin that was like stuck up in the air like this. I understand how that happened now. And then came the new class, a dual blade. While the initial specialization is supposedly the more powerful one, I found the second one to be much more appealing to me personally. I've actually kind of fallen in love with the new class. It's one of my favorites in the game thus far. Special effects were fast, they were flashy, they were fluid. Weapons looked pretty sick from what I saw in the other players. And the playstyle, at least for me, for the spec that I was playing individually, was nice and simple, which, you know, if you guys have been watching me for any period of time, would know that that is just my style. People say that I am a casual gamer, and you know what? I take pride in that. There isn't anything wrong with not attempting to be competitive at your class. I really just don't have the time to with all of these videos and streams that I do every week, and I am more than happy admitting that. And that was pretty much it. They were what I'd encountered in the last few days after the update went live. I'm well aware that I've probably missed various different things, but this isn't an all-inclusive list of every single new thing that they added into the game. This is just a small glimpse of what I got to experience this week. Do these changes fix the glaringly horrendous pay-to-win present in the game? Not at all. Does it balance the classes? Wait, developers actually do that? If you hated the game before, you will still hate it. However, these alterations to the game have made it so much more enjoyable of an experience for me, and I cannot stress enough how much better the game feels now. I'll have a much deeper look into the additional changes or the additive features as I continue to push through over the next month. You guys are more than welcome to accompany me on my journey over on Twitch every weekend if you're interested in seeing more, or you just want to be a part of this firsthand and be immortalized in video form grouping up with me.
Someday soon, I'm gonna make it.